Good morning. I'm Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are zooming into business right on the square in Wadsworth at Grace Lutheran Church. And with us today is the Church Council President, Pam Blueboss. So good morning, Pam.
Good morning, Janie.
Oh, it's good to see you in your beautiful church.
Thank you. It's always good to be in here. It's so peaceful and serene. And well, of course, today we have some liquid sunshine, but when it's really sunshiny in here, the light just beams through our beautiful windows. And
oh, sure. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you some questions about the church. So tell us about Grace Lutheran Church, because it is a landmark and a gorgeous one at that.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, Grace is a community building. It's tradition through the sharing of the good news of Jesus and caring for all of God's children. And we always love welcoming new people and shepherding that, helping them shepherd through and shepherding other people.
Very nice. Now, what is unique about Grace Lutheran Church?
Well, as you can see, is my backdrop here, our architecture, our beautiful windows, and we have this gorgeous, my view is our rose window and the pipe organ. When that plays, it's awesome. And we've actually, a couple different times we've had, when they had art downtown as the first Friday event, we had people standing around and explaining our windows because they do tell a story. And when you walk in here on a Sunday morning and that sunshine is coming through the rose window, it's like God saying, welcome to my house. And it's just really neat. And a good way to explain it, back in 1967, Pat Ondo wrote this fair lady in the Wadsworth News Banner, and I'd like to read a couple paragraphs that kind of explain the windows.
Okay.
With each new morning comes an old story, always new. The story, the Messiah, the storyteller, 276 stained glass medallions through her chancel window. Through the aisle window, she recalls events in the life of Christ. Like an adoring wife, she calls up memories of his annunciation and nativity, his ministry, his majesty, his suffering, his crucifixion, his resurrection, and finally his ascension. There are other memories too. To the north, she sees Christ as the vine and bread of life. To the south, she sees him as Savior, teacher, great physician, light of the world. Finally, she looks to the future through the rose window and sees his second coming. So it's really unique. There's not buildings built like this anymore. So it's really unique to be in here. And when you come in on Sunday mornings and you just look at the windows and hear the organ playing, and it's very serene.
Very nice. Pam, when was the church built?
Actually, last year we celebrated our 100th anniversary. So 1919, this church was built, and there was previously another church on this site. And E.J. Young was instrumental in the plans for building this.
That's beautiful.
And it took 2 years.
Okay. Now, Pam, as president of the council, why do you love what you do?
Well, I love helping people, and I feel we used to, well, before COVID, we were able to have every first Tuesday we had meals for outreach to the community, and with COVID, we aren't able to do that. So I just like welcoming people and, you know, teaching them about Jesus and God and all his love.
Very nice. Now, how can people find Grace Lutheran Church?
Well, they can find us here on Saturday nights at 5 o'clock and on Sunday mornings at 9. And we're on Facebook Live. And to come here, we're directly across from the police station downtown. Okay. And we also broadcast on WCTV, so you can catch us on there too.
Very nice. Now, I have to ask, is Grace Lutheran Church, what synod are you part of?
We're part of the ELCA.
Okay, very nice. Okay, well, Pam Bluebaugh, President of the Council at Grace Lutheran Church, thank you for giving us an insight into your beautiful, beautiful church.
Thank you, Janie, for having us. Have a great day.
You too. Good morning. I'm Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, and you are zooming into business. And actually, we're zooming right down the sidewalk to Hummel Group with our friend Tommy Brenner, who is a business risk advisor. I had to ask because I didn't know. I just thought he was Tommy. So good morning, Tommy.
Yeah, good morning, Janie. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I love seeing you. And it was a nice surprise. I've known Tommy's mom for a long time, and it was a nice surprise when he joined the Wadsworth Lions Club. Yeah, with his grandpa, Bill Simmons, and we're not ever going to hold that against him.
Yeah, he's a trip. I'm grateful to be his grandson.
Oh, I would be too, that he's just a terrific man. So, okay, so tell us about the Hummel Group.
Sure, yeah. So the Hummel Group, as you referenced, we're right down the road in the downtown district of Wadsworth. And we partner with individuals, businesses, and organizations to provide insurance and financial planning guidance. So that's our primary focus, and that's what we do. So that's really is part of 4 different offerings. The first one is we do personal home and auto insurance. We do commercial or business insurance. We're also, and this is a little unique part about us, we're a Dave Ramsey Investor Pro financial planning office. So that's our third. And then our final one is we have a health insurance offering for both individuals, families, and businesses. And the Hummel Group's been around since 1957. Our headquarters are down in Amish country in Berlin. We operate in all 48 contiguous states, and we've got 150 professionals that are on our team.
Wow. See, you know, unless we talk to people around town, we don't know these things. So that's pretty impressive. Yes. Now, I had to tell you, I hate Dave Ramsey because of him. You know, my husband teaches Dave Ramsey to his students. I have no credit card.
Oh,
And
sure.
And I have asked one every birthday, every Christmas, Mother's Day, everything. All I want's a credit card, and I get nowhere with that because of Dave Ramsey. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. You're not the first person I've heard say that.
So I like what you said about your business being so unique and it being very anchored in the insurance world. I love that. So tell me, why do you love what you do with assessing risk?
Yeah, so the part that I love about it is I talk to a lot of people, get to know a lot of folks in their businesses. I'm a sports guy, Janie. So the part that I probably love the most about it, aside from the talent and skill level, of course, that's fun to watch, but it's the strategy. It's how do you get to a place where you can build a plan to be successful? And I get to do that every single day. I get to sit down with business owners, have that discussion, identify what they love about what they do, and then build a plan to protect it. So the strategy is the most enjoyable part about what I do.
And how long have you been with Hummel Group?
So I've been with Hummel Group for about 3.5 years, and I've been in insurance for about 11 years. So
wow. So you're a seasoned strategist.
Seasoned strategist, sure, yep.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, tell me about your family.
Yeah, so my family, I've got a wife of going on 13 years. Her name is Hillary, and we have 3 children, a 5-year-old girl, a 4-year-old boy, and a 2-year-old as of this coming Saturday. And their names are Anna, Wesson, and Marin. So we've got our hands full.
You do. When you leave for work and put it in reverse in the morning, you're probably going, woo-hoo. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, you leave for work and you feel a little bit of relief. You'd think it'd be the other way around, but my wife and I call it beautiful chaos.
Well, I'm sure you're an excellent parent, as your wife is too, but I'm teasing about that because I think being at home with kids is just wonderful. Yeah. In fact, I keep trying to see if I can snatch one and take them home with me, but you know, there's laws against that. Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, so where do you see anything new coming in insurance with you?
Yeah, so obviously we're coming out of 2020, which was a really interesting year. And I say interesting, and there's a lot of other adjectives that could be used to describe it. But as part of that, it's really changed the insurance landscape. You know, we saw some businesses that really struggled, and we all saw other businesses that really thrived. And because of that, the dynamic of how that's changed has really changed exposures. You know, for example, manufacturers that were, and here's the easiest example, doing plexiglass dividers, or were manufacturing face masks, or were providing essential services that were needed during that time, or even platforms like Zoom. Those really took off. And then we saw places like, you know, restaurants or things like that that were, you know, that struggled through some of the mandates. So we're trying to evaluate and understand better what that looks like into the future. We try to get as close. I'll give you an analogy. We're walking up the side of the building. We can't peek around the corner to see what's coming on the other side, but we want to get as close to it as we can. And from that point, it allows us to look and identify, hey, what are the things that might be coming around the bend or around the corner of the building that could be difficult for businesses and business owners down the pipe. So lots of things that we're considering. No individual solution is a one size fits all. So we evaluate that on a case by case basis.
Oh, well, tell me, how can people find Hummel Group?
Yeah, so again, you referenced this. We're right in the downtown district, southwest side of it. We're in between Alexandries and PCS. And our phone number there is 330-335-2521. You'll always get someone who will answer the phone. And my individual email address is tbrenner@hummelgrp.com.
Well, Tommy, I am so glad to talk to you today. I've been missing you.
Yeah. Like I'm ready to get back to being in the flesh and blood, no doubt.
Okay, good. All right. Well, kiss all those kids for me, because I'm sure they are wonderful. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Janie. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for all you do. That is so necessary. Yeah. And even though I was deemed non-essential in the shutdown, I think you should have been essential.
Well, thank you.
There you
thanks
go.
so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great, Janie.
Goodbye. All right. Bye. Good morning. I'm Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, and you are zooming into business, and you're zooming right into the north end of Wadsworth to Liberty Residence. And we're here with Bev Long, which I'm sure so many of you know, and Bev Long is the executive director at Liberty Residence. So good morning, Bev.
Good morning.
Oh my God. I think there's got to be 3 people in Wadsworth that don't know who you are. Yeah.
Oh, stop.
I'm gonna stop, because not only, you know, have you worked at Liberty Residence for a long time, but you've been so involved in the community in so many different ways. And that's the truth. Yep. Okay, so first of all, let's start. Tell us about Liberty Residence.
Yeah, so Liberty Residence here is up here on the north end, like you had mentioned. We have 2 buildings. Those of you that don't know, we have been here for 30 years. We have independent living and we have an assisted living, 2 buildings. We're really here to help seniors when they're getting to that stage where they're thinking maybe it's time to, downsize and maybe let us take care of some of the household chores that get to be too much, for sure. So the independent is 3 meals a day, weekly housekeeping, activities, transportation, and we're staffed 24/7. And then the assisted, that's when we would help out with more medication management, help with bathing, dressing, 24-hour nursing. And we're Medicaid certified, which is a really big deal in Medina County, because there are very few places that take as many Medicaid or take as many Medicaid individuals as we do.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, it's a comfort, because probably the first thing, I would say probably, other than what can you offer pricing, and the fear of what happens if we run out of money is almost in everybody's mind.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, you want the best care for your parents, and money's always an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's awesome, because then they wouldn't have to move if the money does run out.
You know, and I like to educate folks on this, because I guess, you know, this was something I always thought that for my own personal family, and that's how I ended up here, because this was a personal calling. But, you know, I think a lot of people are under the assumption that if my loved one goes, you know, if they're flipped to Medicaid, that the care won't be as good, or, you know, they won't get the same quality. And the state of Ohio actually does a really fabulous job of making sure all of the, you know, all the guidelines are met. And they really, really, really do a great job on that, to make sure that your loved one is taken care of, whether they have money or not. And I think that's important, because I think that was something I always had a misnomer about, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Mhm.
So other than the Medicaid, accepting Medicaid, what's so unique about Liberty residents? Now, I have to tell you, Deb, I can tell you a few unique things, because my parents lived at Liberty residence. So I can tell you quite a few things that were unique about it. But from your perspective, what's unique?
So I loved your mom. Winnie was absolutely one of the sweetest souls. And so there's so many that have come through, but your mom always left an imprint on my heart. So, I think there's several things that are unique about us. You know, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Leatherman, because he had the foresight to build buildings like this before everybody was doing it, right? He did a really great job as far as that goes, of, you know, seeing where that was headed. And now everybody's got independent and assisted living. But think about that for a minute. So I think because, you know, we have that longevity, we really have like all of the nuts and bolts handled. But, you know, I think that having two different buildings really makes a huge difference. It's two different climates. There are a lot of communities out there that have the, you know, the assisted and the independent together. And that sometimes is a much harder pill to swallow, because a lot of people feel they are their surroundings. And so it's much easier to accept an independent situation as opposed to an assisted, right? So I think that is absolutely important. I think our property is absolutely lovely. And I think that our apartments are extremely large and spacious for the price. I think we are a good value. You know, we may not be the newest on the block. We may not have the big, you know, we may not have all of these new buildings, but when people come in, I think they think they're at home, because it feels homey. And that's what I feel are probably some of the biggest perks. I could go on and on about our staff, because we've had a year from, you know, hell to speak of, and our staff has just been amazing. So, but
I have to tell you, Bev, I miss the parties.
oh my God,
Yeah.
the parties. Do we know how to throw parties?
You know how to throw a great party, and I sure miss those. That's
Well, I'm
for
going to
sure.
tell you what, we're going to try and put that luau on. We actually put it on the calendar with a tentative, right? Because we're hopeful. We're
Okay.
hopeful. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Bev, why do you love what you do?
So, and I think for me, like I had said earlier, it was a personal calling. So when my grandparents, so both my mom and dad are one of 5 children, and both my mom and dad were like, you know, the ones that stepped up and took care of their mom and dads. And we didn't know about any of these options. We didn't know that there was an independent or assisted living. I wish I would have known sooner. And it would have been so nice to have someone, you know, to help guide my parents. And so I think about that as I tour every family, about where they're coming from. And, you know, most times it's crisis situation to some degree, you know, and I really, to me, that is the best part of the job. In fact, that was one of the things when I became the executive director, I really emphasized that I did not want to lose that touch, because that is what fuels my my love tank.
There you
Keep
go.
going.
Yeah. Now, Bev, how can people find Liberty residents?
Okay, so we're really easy to find, honestly. We're right off High Street. If everybody knows where Walmart is, basically you would go on the other side of the road, right? So that is Smoke Rise Drive. And if you go down the road a mile to the right, it's going to be your Independent, and then the Assistance, it's right on the corner of Freedom and Smoke Rise. And actually, this is how long we've all been here. Lots of people will say, "Are you next to like where the old Kmart used to be?" And I'm like, yes. Do you know what I mean? It's so funny, right?
Yeah,
Like that
Yeah.
history of Wadsworth that we have.
very nice.
So yeah.
Oh, well, Bev, thank you for all you do. On a personal note, thank you for all you did for my family. And thank you for all you do for the community, not only at Liberty residents, but out in the community as well. You've always been well known for your personal volunteerism. So thank you so much.
You were very welcome. I love Wadsworth. I can't say enough about it.
Perfect. We like
Yep.
hearing that. So, okay, thank you. And when that luau comes, I'm going to be there.
Are you gonna wear a grass skirt?
Of course.
I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, everybody out there in Chamberlain, y'all heard it here first.
I'm with you.
All right,
Okay.
honey.
Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, we will talk soon.